All right, welcome back to CEO Money. I'm Tommy Havey. I'm excited to introduce our next guest, Dr. Mark Hochman. He has served as Director of Clinical Affairs and Director of Research and Development for Milestone Scientific since 1999. He is a primary inventor of more than 20 patents, and he has some new technology he wants to share with us. Dr. Hochman, how are you?
Tommy, very well, thank you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with your listeners about some exciting new prospects for all of us. As you know, many of us have to undergo many different types of medical procedures, and we're real excited about what we've developed.
It's pretty amazing and groundbreaking. But before we go there, I just want to find out a little bit about you. And was it always your plan to be a surgical dentist?
Well, initially it really was, Tommy. When I first got into clinical practice, I was like most dentists that were out there. I was very caring about my patients and really wanted to make sure I wasn't hurting them in any way. And what I recognized immediately that probably the worst part of many procedures, whether it's a dental procedure or a medical procedure, is getting that injection, that shot. And that really creates and evokes a tremendous amount of fear and anxiety in the population out there. I'm sure all your listeners can really relate to that.
Myself included. So, listen, with your history of creative vision, why did you pick Milestone to join forces with?
Well, actually, a team of us got together that had a shared vision of trying to eliminate pain perception from the dreaded injection. And what we recognized is there was a tremendous need out there. The syringe that typically most physicians and dentists use today dates back over 160 years, Tommy. Can you imagine 160 years? What other technology do they use on a routine basis in a physician's office or a dental office that goes back over that much time and has not been improved upon? So that was our single vision, our single focus with the team that we put together.
So can you tell me a little more about the technology?
Absolutely, Tommy. The technology, really what started out as a means of controlling the rate at which that injection was being given. Because you know what? Many of us are familiar with acupuncture. The needle is not what causes the most amount of pain and does not cause the damage. It's really, they have very small gauge needles today. It's really the pressure and the rate at which a drug is pushed into the body. And that's what we really, as humans, we react to is pressure. So we had an initial technology that was controlling the rate very, very precisely. And what we also recognized was if we can control the rate and the pressure during an injection using micro needles, smaller gauge needles, we could really stop the subjective pain reactions that most of us have when getting an injection. Quite remarkable.
No, it truly is. I mean, at my age, and when I see a nurse coming at me with a needle, I'm running the other direction. But it's you're right. It's not the actual needle that hurts. And
no, because we have topicals, we have creams that can be placed on the surface of the skin that can block the actual puncture. But it's once that little needle's inside and they start to inject that fluid into a confined tissue space, you get tissue damage, you get a reaction that, you can't really block. A doctor could say to you, well, calm down. It's not so bad. But,
sure.
Yeah, maybe it's not so bad to give it, but to receive it, it's horrific, and they can't control those parameters. So that's what we set out to do, is control all the parameters of an injection, of a subcutaneous injection. And what's even more remarkable is that from that initial studies that we did, showing that we can control pain perception, we realized we now had, we developed a new technology that not only controlled the rate, but actually could sense what is the pressure at the tip of the needle in real time. And that was the major breakthrough that our team contributed to the development of what we call dynamic pressure sensing, and has now been incorporated into the platform of products that we envision coming out, and we have them some are really commercially available already today.
So you've also you've received FDA clearance. So what's the next step?
That's right, Tommy. So Milestone Scientific, which is a very advanced technology company related to drug delivery systems, we have a drug delivery platform. And one of the first products that we brought to the market, aside from our dental instrument, is a way of giving an epidural. Listen, there are 2.4 million epidurals performed in the United States on an annual basis. Somebody's having childbirth or they're getting surgery of the lower extremities. They're going to use a certain injection to try to identify a very, very small space in the area of the spine. And we've developed the technology through this dynamic pressure sensing that allows us to identify the target with a very, very high level of accuracy. And that's the product that we have just gotten approval for through the FDA. We've been using it. We have certification approval in Europe already, but we just and we're really excited about that product because that one can really change not only the pain perception part of it, but be a more accurate injection for our patients and make it a safer experience for patients.
Well, it's exciting technology, and for one that doesn't like shots, I want to see it implemented as quickly as possible. So is this an expensive process? How are you marketing it to the doctors? That's what you need to be able to do is get that out globally so that the consumer and the patient can experience that. So is that Milestone Scientific that's kind of doing that program?
Yes, we're doing that, Tommy, as well as our core competency, which is, research and development for future applications and short-term applications, such as we have a cosmetic injector that will be able to deliver Botox. We also have an interarticular instrument to give injections into the joints so that it's more accurate for the practitioner and also more comfortable for the patient. But getting back to this product that was just FDA approved, the epidural instrument, which we call CompuFlow Epidural from Milestone Scientific, we are now on a two-phase project here. The first phase of this is reaching out and identifying key opinion leaders throughout the U.S., which we already have a center down at the University of Miami that Jackson Memorial Hospital has started to use it, and several others have used it during the FDA process, and we're excited that they're coming back to us now, and we're moving forward, getting them up and running. So the first phase, yes, is the key opinion leaders, the physicians that, help to advocate for us and start using it right away. And then as well as finding a commercial relationship with a distributor in the U.S. That will allow them to really cover that market more effectively because, as I said, we're really more of a research and development company, and we have a platform of products that we're developing in other areas. As you know, Tommy, we also have a dental instrument that's been out there for 10 years doing quite well. So there's no need for you to go to the dentist any longer and get those horrific shots that most of us had experienced when we were younger. So that product is called the Wand STA, and we have that worldwide, and we're very proud of that product. It incorporates that same concept of dynamic pressure sensing, enabling us to reduce pain perception as well as give a more accurate and safer injection for our patients.
So from the dental side, do you have any idea kind of the broad scope of the dentists out there that are using the technology today?
Yes. We have about 3 to 4% of the market in the U.S., and in many countries we have double digits already, people using it. It's really a very exciting prospect. Patients, once they get that experience of getting an injection, which I would call a digital injection, it's a computerized injection. It requires a needle, but it's a smaller gauge needle typically than you experience. But the experience is totally different because we're controlling that variable of rate and pressure. And dentists are really, building their practice utilizing this because word of mouth really is very strong once they experience this type of injection. But the company is really more focused right now, Tommy, on the medical sector, and that's where we believe we're going to be able to affect more patients more broadly and have a much greater usage as well as greater benefits to society, and that's what we're really excited about.
No, that's very exciting news. Merv in the studio was just signaling me because he just had some massive dental work done.
I had 6 implants, and I was not put under, and I had your instrument was what allowed me to get up from there, and with absolutely no numbness, no pain, and it was wonderful. Thank you.
Merv, you're quite welcome. I hear stories like that. Day in and day out, I get a phone call every now and then, and really that's what keeps the team really motivated is comments like yours. When you actually experience it, it's really a game changer.
Well, Doc,
and so there's really no reason that,
I hate to interrupt you here, but our time is up, and we've really enjoyed having you on the show. I appreciate you coming on and giving our listeners the knowledge to go forward and going to ask for these products, because that's the way it can get into your doctor's and your dentist's office.
They work.
Yep.
So thank you very much.
Contact info.
Have a good day, gentlemen.
Yes. How could we reach you, your contact information, where someone can get information about the product?
We're a publicly traded company under the symbol MLSS. That's milestonescientific.com. We're on the New York Stock Exchange. And if you go onto our website, which is milestonescientific.com, one word, milestonescientific.com, or as I said, you use the symbol MLSS, you'll be able to get to our website, and in that website you'll see some contact information, how to get to me, as well as some other people in our team that can answer any type of question that you might have.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate it. And you've been listening to CEO Money. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with NFL star. Mr. Williams is going to tell us about what's happening with concussions and CTE.